Welcome back to Nicki's Crochet Podcast. I am so excited for you to be here. You get to know the designers from a totally different perspective. And today we have a brand new guest, and it's Kelly from Heart Knot Life Crochet. I am so excited for you to be here. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Your Instagram is beyond gorgeous. Like the elegance, it's just so beautiful. Your
Stop.
patterns are beautiful. I have to brag. I'm sorry. It is
Keep
amazing.
going. Don't stop.
But I really want to know, like, how did you get started? I know this is your side hustle. So how did you even get started? And you kind of, I mean, you're an established designer, like, how did you even come up with this?
Interesting that you think I'm an established designer, because I've honestly
well, at least on Instagram you are. At least, I mean, from what I can tell, you have good numbers, it looks like you have good sales on Etsy. I mean, it looks like you're doing great. So how did you even get started? Who taught you how to crochet? Let's start with that.
Honestly, I taught myself. I have two kids, and I was constantly doing arts and crafts with them, and I was getting tired of their things, and I wanted something for mom. I wanted something I could do, so I just decided to pick up a crochet hook and start watching some videos on Pinterest, and thought, after a lot of trying and a lot of ugly items, I'm not going to mention the not square washcloths I created. Still use them, but just kept trying over and over and kept working with it. And I realized I really have an eye for color and love to put things together. I can be on the yarn aisle and see things come together just looking at the yarns. So I just kept working with it. And then I really do like taking photography. So positioning the items in a pretty way and learning Instagram and how it works and all that it's kind of new for this old gal, but trying to keep up with these young little girls trying to do their crochet.
You look young.
So not.
Yeah, but it's so beautiful. But what made you then turn it into a business? Even though it's a side hustle, it is a business. Like when did you say, you know what, I'm just not doing this just for myself. Let me share it with the world.
Well, I don't have any babies anymore, so someone needs my blankets. So I decided to start selling my items, and baby blankets, hats. There's always coworkers that are looking for quick gifts, teacher gifts, washcloths, family hostess gifts, things like that. So it was a place to host the things that I was making and having fun learning, doing. And then it became just a place for me to hold my patterns too, things I was coming up with and things I was trying to share with others. I'm a designer on the side, a graphic designer. So I do have the design knowledge of making printed items as well. So it was a place for me to host those. And so this became a pretty popular thing. And it just took a good couple of shares from the right people to really gain some followers and some respect in, the color combining world.
Totally. I mean, I love it. If I look at your Etsy, I see three different things. I see the printables. Let's take that out of the pattern part of it. Like you have the printables that are like, tags and things like that. And then you have the patterns, and then you have the ready to go items, or unless it's made to order. I don't even know exactly. I didn't look.
Yeah. I mean, I do some made to order, but I feel like a lot of the things is just the pattern downloads and blanket sales for sure. And a lot of that is just combining the colors, and then I sell what I've made. So it ends up working both ways. So it's giving people ideas for their work and then selling the items.
Do you prefer being a maker to sell your physical things, or do you prefer being a pattern designer? Like, is there a shift, or are you equally happy?
I think I really enjoy the creative part. This is an outlet for me. So anything I can do outside of work, which I'm creative at work all day, but it's not like what I want to create. So having just like the pattern creating is new for me. And I try to develop these in a way that a new crocheter, because I remember when I was just learning, and it wasn't that long ago, I can't follow just a paragraph. Like I need pictures. I need you to talk to me. I need you to walk me through this. Haven't gotten into too many video type things. I'm not super comfortable live or any way like that. So I think that's where we ended up.
Well, I'm honored that you're on this podcast then, because if you don't like
I know, you should be happy. You're going to see it again. I'm going to go back into my cave.
Yeah, that's totally normal. Most of the time, I'm just on my hands in front of the camera anyways. My face is not shown. But yeah, you have really elegant designs though. So how do you come up with your design ideas? I mean, I see a lot of beanies and blankets and things. Like, how do you, is it, does a stitch come first and then the pattern, or is it,
Oh gosh.
how do you come up with these ideas?
Probably the stitch. You just see that I'll find one and it will end up in everything I do for a while and then I'll move on to something else. But it's just I can see how it can work in different ways. And
Yeah.
then it's a challenge to get it to work in different ways, like in the round or
Yeah.
I like to see how the colors would layer. Like I'm all about the colors. So if
Yeah.
something can layer and you can bring a variegated yarn in there, sometimes a certain stitch will achieve that. So
Yeah.
that's
I
where I'm at.
I love it. You talk a lot about colors, and I love colors. I love color theory, color combinations. But like, guide us through of if let's say you're making a beanie, how would you? What goes up in your mind when it comes to colors? Like, guide us through and how you would pick the colors. Is it by the texture? Is it by the color combination? Like, what is going on in your head? I would love to know because I really love this subject.
In here, it's all secrets. I don't know. It's hit or miss too, because I've done a lot of things that I've ripped out. So I'm not perfect, but I do have a tendency to find the colors and put it together in just the right way.
Yeah.
I'll take oftentimes a variegated yarn and
Mm-hmm.
pull out colors from that complement it and work with different neutrals. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think, what would I wear?
Yes.
What would match most things. You don't want it to be too crazy, but and baby blankets, it's just finding kind of different combinations. You see all the pinks and the blues, and I want to tie in some purples and some
Yeah.
greens and just things that are different. Orange, everyone's afraid of that, but if you mix it in just
Yeah.
the right way, it
That's
can be
true.
a really cool boy color.
That's true. That's true.
So
So do you prefer more the neutrals or do you really like bold colors or are you more in a pastel colors? Like what is your type? Where do you tend to go to most?
I like to mix in a lot. You'll see most of the stuff is pretty neutral, not a lot of crazies, no neons, nothing like that, but
Hmm.
just pretty much anything that just happens to hit like at that moment. You
I
never know.
That's true. Is there something that you want to explore in the crochet world that you haven't done yet? Let's say a technique or let's say I don't know, amigurumi or something. Have you explored or want to explore something you haven't done yet?
Um, Maybe knitting. I haven't tried that side of it, but I'm so drawn to the look of it and
Yeah.
try to like make that come across in my crochet items because it kind of
Mhm.
looks knit, like some of
Yes.
the bands on the hats. That's what I'm trying to achieve, but I have yet to get my hands on some needles and try that out. I shy away from the little animals and emigrate.
Yeah.
I the counting. I'm out. I'm tired by the end of the day. If I have to count that far, like you're lucky. That's not
Yeah.
going to happen. I've done a few small things like that and realized, and also clothing is
Yeah.
not my, I've tried, but then getting the sizing right is hard. But
Yeah. That
definitely
makes sense.
Tunisian. I want to try things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I was a knitter first before I was a crocheter, so I feel that idea of wanting to make it knit look.
Yeah,
And there's so many different stitches to allow you to do that, which is really fun. And I know knitters are always crazy about this. Like, why don't you just knit? And I'm like, well, some people just don't want to learn it,
I
but they still
know.
want the
And
knit of
honestly,
it.
I just picked up, I said I had to decide one way or the other. I had to pick a
Yeah.
lane. I chose crochet. Here I am. So, but I'm going to probably get tired of it eventually and want to try some new things. And I've heard you can go back and forth pretty easily. So
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
too
true.
scared of that.
That's true. But you do also have a lot of printables. Tell us about your printables. Like,
Mhm.
how did you come up with these? And it's like, what made you say, oh, I'm going to sell this versus something else? Like, was it because people asked you to it or was that your idea?
Well, it was kind of, I packaged my items. I want something to show like the wash care cards came
Yeah.
in handy for that. Like I wanted to do that. And I thought, oh, maybe somebody else would like this.
Yeah.
I've kind of have that design knowledge, how to put these things together and trying to think, what do crocheters need? What do organizers, anybody in the craft world need with their items? That's really hard. A lot of people struggle with that. They
Yeah.
can create the items, but then their stuff doesn't look polished when they're delivering it. And that's,
Yes.
I think, really important. So I do want to expand a little bit more on providing some things like that for people. And I've even branched out a little bit into the Canva world.
Yeah.
I've got templates for crochet patterns or knitting patterns, and you can just fill in your information and it's already designed for you. It takes out the guesswork.
Love it.
That was kind of a new thing for me. So getting that promoted was a little tricky to explain to
Yeah.
people. And
Yes.
if they're not familiar with Canva, but it's such a tool that you can use. And I
Yeah.
just kind of got you halfway.
That's true. So, do you have a
Mm-hmm.
specific audience in mind? Because everyone technically has their like ideal customer. Sometimes there's an overlap, but for you, since you have like three different things, it sounds like some of it is for people who don't know how to do anything with yarn. Then some of it is for those who do know how to crochet, and then for
Yeah.
some of those, it's for those who want to sell things. So, is that for you like a mixture? Did you always wanted to do it that way, or just what is your ideal customer actually?
My ideal customer at this point, I think, is, and not even necessarily a customer
Yeah.
or even just who I'm targeting on Instagram, is somebody who has a struggle on the yarn aisle and they just cannot put it together. And
Yeah.
I just want to give some choices to people and say, here's some combinations. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
Anything else that comes out of Etsy is a side thing. And
Yeah.
that's just a result of these choices that I'm putting together. But a lot of people just, they go blank or they buy all this yarn and then they come home and don't know what to do with it. And I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to take the guesswork out of that, whether or not you use the same yarn that I'm choosing, but it gives you options to find on yarn aisle things
Yeah.
that in your favorite brand can be similar to that.
Yeah, totally. What kind of yarn is your favorite to work with? Is it specific brand or
Oh,
is it like a specific fiber? What do you like to crochet with?
all about the Hobby Lobby yarn, and I keep using it, and everyone's like, "Oh, why don't you show anything different?" But honestly, it's like you're the one that has to work with it.
Yeah.
You're the one that's sitting there all day, and if you're not happy with it and you don't love
Yes.
what you're working with and the end result and the color combination
Yeah.
isn't there, I mean, you have to have a favorite, and also it's just ease of me having not a lot of time to go out and check out all the yarn shops, but like
Yeah.
what I have easy access to, and I
Oh
know a
yeah.
lot of people do, and I don't think anybody should be tied to a
No.
certain brand. I mean, you can take the color combinations and apply it to any yarn aisle. I can find the same stuff very similar in Red Heart here, and so
Exactly.
it's more about your preference.
Exactly. Even Hobby Lobby sells like Lime Brand, Red Heart, and Yarn Inspiration
For
yarn.
sure.
So, they have that
Yeah, it's
yarn
just
that
whatever's closest.
exactly. Exactly. Do you have a hook that you tend to use most of the time? Is that for like I assume you're using a lot of worsted, but I could be wrong. What hook
Hmm.
size do you prefer?
Oh, I just use these ergonomic ones that I got on Amazon, and they've been just, a quick find and haven't gone back. I'm honestly surprised I have not lost them for good because they have been lost so
Yeah.
many times and refound. But it's like the house needs to stop if no one can find the purple hook.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to freeze and find it. So
And then in the
everybody
end, it's like
knows.
behind your ear or something, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's usually under the couch, honestly.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. But what hook size is your favorite? Do you aim for a specific one? For me, it's like usually a range or something that I seem to go to
Yeah.
all the time.
Usually a 4 millimeter or like a 5
Yeah.
hook or H hook is my go-to, and it's hard because I spec that on my patterns because it's what I use, and
Yeah.
so you're all kind of you're on your own, but trying to give a gauge there for everyone's different, but
Yeah.
it's just what I got comfortable with, and it's my go-to like comfort hook.
Do you have any crazy stories about yarn or crochet, whether it's from yourself, with your children, your husband, who knows, Do you have any crazy stories to share with us?
Oh gosh. Yeah, these poor kids have been through. I have two boys, 14 and 10, and they have gone. I've tried to get them so hard to crochet, and they've tried it, and they think I'm crazy, but they think mom's lost it. Let's see. I just take the crochet everywhere we go.
Yeah.
I've made a giant blanket for my older son. Ended up it was I was learning corner to corner, so I was all about. I mean, when I get into something, it's
Yeah.
the whole house is involved. So I had measured out this, how you have to like plan out the squares
Yeah.
to spell his name, and it's
Yeah.
like the size of a twin bed. Is this giant thing, and for half of it, I was going, and I turned it over, and I didn't realize the back is like
Yeah.
if you do it wrong, it could be opposite. So his name
Yes.
was all screwed up. So that pulled it out. Mom, they got to see that, like, life's full of disappointments. You move on. We're not going
Yes.
to like get upset about this. So they've seen me upset. They've seen me start over a lot of times. Um, My younger son has never gotten a blanket, so he still holds that against me, but
Ooh,
I moved on to something else. So I don't know, maybe he'll get that by the time he gets married. I don't know. But
that would be a perfect gift, or even a baby
yeah.
blanket in the end if he needs one, for future
Oh
kids or
yeah. They're
something.
hooked up for life for that. Yeah.
Exactly. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll get one eventually. It's hot out. We're in California. So how
Exactly.
much
Same
do you
for
really
me.
need it?
But have your kids or husband ever inspired you to crochet something?
I always get told, will you make me a beanie? Will you make me a beanie? Yet they each have like 3 or 4 beanies each, and I don't know why they need more. And
Mix it up for their clothes,
yeah, yeah. They're winter people. They love skiing and things like that. So we spend a lot of time in Lake Tahoe, and they're
Oh,
always looking for new beanies. There's times where we've been there and somebody forgot theirs, so mom
yeah.
whittles
Crochets
one
real
up
quick.
real quick. Yeah.
I love that. But besides your crochet business and, of course, having family life, do you have anything else you do for me time?
I'm always outdoors. Like I love being in the mountains. Like I said, we go to Lake Tahoe all the time. I joined a hiking group recently and
Love that.
really enjoyed meeting some new people and, just getting out there and seeing what California has to offer besides fires and heat.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Or earthquakes.
oh God, yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But have you ever hidden a mistake you have done and then actually either put it as a pattern out there or sold it? Like we all make mistakes, but are you a perfectionist or like you rip it out to make sure it's perfect, or are you okay
Oh
and
God.
hide a mistake?
Well, yeah, like the name misspelled or totally ruined and corner to corner was fixed.
Yeah.
I'll find little things here and there and I'll try and fix them. I try not to worry too much about it. I think if somebody was to get this, they would know it's handmade. We're all human. It's not made by a machine. It kind of
Yeah.
makes it more authentic and it's more like hand handcrafted. I'll put it
Yes.
that way.
That's true.
But yeah, I am pretty perfectionist, but then there's times where, I mean, half my pictures, things are sticking out all over the place and I'll tuck them in and then,
Yeah.
oh, it looks beautiful.
Do you have a studio at home or do you do it like nice on the side? Like for me, I'm in a corner of a master bedroom. It looks like a studio, but it's not.
Oh,
So
yeah. I got a corner of an upstairs bathroom. The, I've got the perfect windows, the lighting. I'll be like doing my hair and I'll be like, oh God, the lighting's like perfect right now. I need to go
yeah,
grab something and put it there. And I'll be
take
staying
pictures.
inside the bathtub trying to get the perfect picture, but you got
Oh,
to do
that's
what works.
yeah.
You know,
Do you have a bunch of props on the side, or like how do you take your pictures? Like, do you have some tips for those who need to take good pictures but are not really good at it? Because I feel like you're really great at it. Can you give us some tips?
yeah. Sure. Definitely natural light. Look for those windows. Look for any parts of your house that just get that like really pretty afternoon light, but don't take the stuff outside. Don't hang it on a tree.
No.
Don't don't hang it out there. I have a blanket ladder that I was gifted,
Yeah.
and that's come in really handy to show the things. Sometimes I have a hard time with bags
Yeah.
and things like that. And I definitely have tried to put the things on, taken the picture, and then deleted the picture, and then do not want to be in the picture. Um, I do have props. I look around at Goodwill and things like that, different like things that I might see that might work well, or just kind of cool angles. You kind of just sometimes I have to not force it. I have to just like
Yes.
see something sitting there, and you walk by, and you're like, oh, that's kind of pretty the way that's hitting that and that angle, and I'll move things around and take
Yeah.
a few pictures. My phone's filled with more pictures of yarn than my children or anything else.
Same.
So if
Same.
somebody kidnaps me, I'm done.
Do you prefer taking your photos with DSLR or with your phone?
Oh, I use my iPhone. Yeah, and I color
Nice.
correct with an app called Snapseed, which is
Hmm.
a free app, and it's actually really helpful in touching up a lot of it, and it works great for me. I mean, I do have access to Photoshop and things like that, but I
Yeah.
actually find using my phone is just as good, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be anything complicated.
Yeah.
Just that good lighting really makes a difference. You can tell if something's going to pop if you barely have to even like color correct it. You've got
Yes.
a good picture. There's times where I'm pulling things slider from the dark to the light, and I'm like, this has just gone bad. And some colors just
Yeah.
don't represent well in pictures, and that can be frustrating too. But that means you're just not using just the right light, or just the
Yeah.
right time, or the right background. It's playing off of something else. So
Exactly. Exactly. Do you see yourself turning your current business into a full-time business, or do you prefer keeping that as a side hustle?
definitely a side hustle. I think that's a lot of pressure on me to do something like that. I feel like I'd have to be creative to support myself, and that kind of
Mhm.
freaks me out, even though that's kind of my old full-time job. But at least I know, like, I'm producing and I'm getting a paycheck and I'm getting help, insurance. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of scares me. But I wouldn't say it couldn't never happen, but I definitely like the feeling of, like, okay, if I'm not having any good ideas this week, I can pause on this. It's okay to take a break. But if that was like my livelihood, I think it would really stress me out. And I do find myself stressing over, how many likes something got, or how
Yeah.
I haven't posted a reel fast enough, or creative enough, or cute enough, or trendy enough. And I'm
Yeah.
like, stop. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed
Yeah.
to be, something I enjoy on the side. So I'm trying not to get caught up on that. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have your patterns and things like that on Etsy because you don't have a website yet, or maybe not ever, which is fine. But
Mhm.
you also have Instagram, right? And I believe Facebook, maybe, I don't know. But
Mhm.
tell us, why should someone follow you on Instagram? What do you provide over there that they can't get anywhere else?
Oh, all kinds of greatness. um, I think color inspiration. I think that's like my main focus. I try not to, post too much more than that. Like, just kind of, I like to highlight other people too. That, if you have a good color combination, if you've used something in the
Yeah.
past, send it to me, tag me in it, say, and I'll definitely promote it. I'll share anybody's creation. I get so many things. I make these, Hannah bags, and I get
Yeah.
so many different combinations, and it's so fun to share them on my stories, because it's
I love
like, look at these people are doing, they're doing it too, and you can use
Yeah.
their colors. And
Yeah.
I try to do color posts once in a while, which I'm behind on, which I'm feeling guilty. See, it's not my full-time job. but um
Don't feel
but
guilty.
those, I know, those help, and those, give people like something to save, something,
Yeah.
there's a reason there.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I'll leave a link down below to both your Etsy and your Instagram if anyone wants to follow or check out some of her creations, which are amazing. They're really, really stunning. Thank you for being here, Kelly. I really, really appreciate it. That was really wonderful to have you as a guest. I hope you had a fun time too.
I did. Thank you for putting me in this reign of some of the other cool designers. I was really inspired. So
Oh, yeah, of
thank you.
course. I wanted to show you off because you have incredible designs. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope to see you guys the next time. Bye.